Oh my god. Okay, I'm filming this right after the race just happened, and what was that? Like, wow. I'm so glad I decided to film a video yesterday, because otherwise I would have forgotten literally all the points I was gonna make. But, jeez. Like, oh, like, what did I just watch? I forgot to introduce myself. Sorry. But hi, welcome to the Apex Hour podcast. I'm Noelle Girardi. PSA, this is not a video. This is just me talking with a picture up. So if that's not your flow, then you gotta go. That was a really bad rhyme. It was actually really good, right? But anyways. Oh, wow. Okay, so first it was Logan, and I was actually surprised to see him up in the top 15. Well, maybe not surprised, but I oh my god, I can't talk. Sorry, I was proud to see him up in the top 15. I was like, wow, he must feel very, accomplished, especially after, James Vowles has just been talking about Carlos the entire freaking, week. So that's was kind of, that had to have been kind of a punch in the gut for him. It was actually kind of funny, though, because when he first went off the track, it just cut to him in the wall, and I just busted out laughing. I was like, wow. And then he actually did end up losing the car, so that was DNF number 1. And then Charles Leclerc. So I kind of knew that his race was, kind of fucked as soon as he said there's something wrong with the engine. And just, learning from the past, every single time they say, oh, the engine is fixed, you're good. It's never good. So I kind of took that to mean, yeah, we're screwed. And boy, was I right. He was over a minute behind, I think it was Joe at that time. And I was like, just retire the car already, because this is embarrassing, to everybody. And you know what? That is exactly what they did. So, again, after Monaco, that's gotta feel like kind of a kick in the gut. But again, a reality check. And then who was out next? I don't know. But oh my god, Carlos. No, Carlos. If you don't know, Carlos and Yuki are my favorite drivers. I love them both equally, but I saw him go in the grass, and he was just doing loop-de-loops. I was like, oh, God. Carlos, no. And then they ended up retiring the car. Alex was out. 2 DNFs from Williams as well. Too bad, because he actually had kind of a good race going. So, props to him. Oh, also props to Magnussen. Pete did a damn good job, at least at the start. He went up, 10 places? So, good for him, I guess. And anything other? There's definitely other things I wanted to talk about. Sergio Perez. What is happening with him? Okay, in the last podcast, I literally I said, I don't really think... I think Red Bull won with the save option signing him again, but even now it's not looking very safe. What were they thinking signing a 2-year contract with him? If I were them, which I'm not, and I get that, but I probably would have signed a 1-year contract, seen if maybe I wanted to replace him after that 1 year. If so, then, bye-bye Checo. If not, then we'll just re-sign him. But, wow, first starting from 16th, I already said this yesterday, Max ended up P2 in quali yesterday. I know he won the race, but in quali, he started P2 with the same time as George Russell, who got pole position. So, you could argue number 1. How is Checo 14 places behind him? That's crazy. And then when I, cut to the broken wing, I was like... oh my god, wow, you are so lucky that contract was signed before this race, because otherwise they would have been having some second thoughts, I bet. But yeah, ended in a DNF for him as well. And Yuki, oh my god, Yuki, he was doing well. He was in 8th, 9th, 7th at one point. but he just had a pretty steady race going. And then at the end, they were like, okay, Daniel, you can fight Yuki. And, okay, I'm going to be real. That made me kind of mad. Because tell me why you're going to have your drivers fighting for 1 point at the end of the race. Like, I would have just told Daniel, stay put. Make sure, maybe guard Yuki or whatever. But why are you going to have them fight? It's not worth it. Oh, and then poor Joe, he was over a lap behind Yuki. Oh, and then Yuki crashed out, or not crashed out, but he spun off the track and ended in 14th. He was like 52 or 53 seconds off of Bottas. So, oh no, that's not good. On the other hand, double points for Alpine, which I can safely say I was not expecting. Had all those cars maybe not crashed out, maybe it wouldn't have happened, but you never know. Both Aston Martins in the points as well. Really good. Both, I think, McLaren's and Mercedes. So that's going to be a big points haul for all these teams. Not good for Ferrari, though, seeing that, Mercedes and McLaren are kind of getting up there. Also not really good for Verstappen either. Actually, let's take a look at the standings, because have they updated it? I do not think they have. Drivers' Championship. Maybe they did. Yeah, they did. Okay, so first is Max Verstappen, understandably so. Second, Charles Leclerc with 138 points, and Lando Norris just 7 points behind Charles with 131 points. Carlos is in fourth with 108 points. Sergio Perez is in fifth with 107, and Oscar is in sixth. I just said that. Sorry, with 81 points. So, I mean, dude, that's got to be kind of exhilarating for Lando. Like, I bet that he checks the standings every night before he goes to bed. He's like, oh, like, I'm so close. Because that's got to be pretty cool, like, knowing that you actually have a shot to win a world championship this year. And speaking of world championships, we got 24 hours of Le Mans coming up quick. I'm planning on making a podcast on that, so feel free to tune in on that. I'm not gonna watch the full thing. I've never stayed up a full 24 hours before, so I doubt I'd be able to do it for Le Mans. But hopefully I can definitely. Wait a minute. Aren't the Olympics going on in France too? Dang, they're just like sweeping in all these important events. Although Le Mans is there every single year, so wow, dude, that's Ollie Bierman is still 13th in the standings. That's crazy. Oh my god. Race results. Yeah, I left before I could see the podium, because I did not feel like hearing the Dutch anthem again, nor the Austrian one. So yeah, and I just saw the most mean diss on Lance Stroll. So actually, I was doing a little bit of a kind of a little dive, because I was like, maybe Lance actually isn't that bad, and maybe everybody's just exaggerating when they say, oh, his dad bought his way into F1. He really did. I mean, I found out there was a bunch of controversy. I found an old kind of George Russell interview where basically he was saying, when he was in F3, that it was really sad that Lance Stroll was allowed to get away with what he was getting away with, because basically it was kind of, I don't know if it was alleged or confirmed, that his dad was kind of paying off the team to tell Lance's teammate that he couldn't fight him. And he basically bought the whole Prema team. And there was this really big controversy that Williams Racing, the F1 team, was making oh my god, what's the word? We'll just say illegal. That they were making illegal parts for Lance Stroll's car in F3. And with all of those kind of bonus helpings, like when you basically have nobody to fight you at all, that's just a guaranteed win. And you know what? For Lance, it still wasn't even guaranteed, because out of the 30 races in the season, he literally only won 14, which is so sad. Like, if you're literally going to have nobody else on the grid fighting you, how are you going to lose 16 races? Like, you should be getting first every single time. So even that's embarrassing. But, I'm not here to just completely slander one driver. So, I guess we can go back to the race. Okay. That overtake on Hamilton in, I think it was lap 69. Balls. Dude, that is... Wow. Like, I watched that and I audibly gasped. And I don't think I'd gasped in, 5 years. Like, no, Russell, why? I mean, I get why. I mean, come on. But I was shocked, because... I can imagine Hamilton must have been shocked. He must have been like, what? He saw Russell going past him. But, that just kind of leaves me to wonder, where is Hamilton going to be next year in the Ferrari? Like, I know, because I keep seeing these comments and Twitter threads and all these, Reddit posts of people being like, Hamilton is washed. And, this might be a bit controversial, but at least for me right now, seeing where Lewis is in the season and seeing where he was last year, I don't think that, I don't think he's gonna get an 8th, honestly. And, this again is, controversial, but I just think that, again, he's getting up there in age, and I know age isn't, this, come on, look at Fernando, but he's just not really the driver that you can see he was in 2021 or 2020 or 2019. He's just he's losing it a little bit. And I wouldn't say he's washed, but I'd say he's fading a little bit. That one scene in Cars where it's he's fading, McQueen is fading. I can kind of see that. And it just kind of makes me a little bit scared for Ferrari, because at least Russell seemed to look quick in his car, and Hamilton, come on, you can't really argue with 4th, but it's just a little bit ominous, what we can expect next year. And again, as a Carlos fan, I'm hoping that Ferrari realizes that maybe they messed up. But obviously it was kind of a no-brainer for them, probably. When a 7-time champion wants to sign with you, then you can't really say no. And that must be kind of scary to Charles, because they have promised Charles not a 7-time world championship. They promised Charles a championship with Ferrari, or allegedly they did. So, are you going to say no to the golden boy or the 7-time world champion? Or is the 7-time world champion going to be your main focus? It's kind of this full thing where, what are we going to expect? Or what can we expect? Or what should we expect? And I saw this post. It was my controversial opinions about F1. And one of them was, Ferrari is never going to get another championship. I think never, ever again. I think that's definitely a stretch. But the way that they are now, it's kind of just obviously Monaco was great, but again, it's Monaco. There's no overtaking. It's not really a challenge. Like Esteban said, when you go for an overtake, it's all or nothing. You either crash out or you make the overtake. And in that race, no overtakes were made, but there was a whole lot of crashing. I don't know why I said that. That was pointless to my entire point I was trying to make. What was I trying to say? Ferrari championship. I think if Ferrari I think where they're at with their car is really good. I just think that they need to focus on the other aspects. Like, I mean, come on, obviously strategy. Although it hasn't really been that bad this season. But they just need to make a couple changes around the paddock and watch them be good as new. You know? But I seriously think that if they lock in, they could totally win the Constructors this year. I mean, I just looked at the points. How far are they off of Red Bull? 301. I'm too lazy to... I just watched a 2-hour race. I'm too lazy to do mental math. They're 49 points off of Red Bull. So let's say if Charles or Carlos win 2 races, then boom, look at that. They're ahead of Red Bull. Assuming both Red Bulls DNF. Which probably not. But if they really lock in, I bet in the next 5 races, at least with the Constructors, they can get ahead. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm really proud at where Carlos is in the drivers, considering that, you know, he missed a race. So, yay, Carlos, definitely. Wait, where's Yuki? Okay, he's 10th. No way he's ahead of Lance Stroll. Okay, I'm going to be so real. When I saw that Yuki signed that contract with RB, that was kind of just like another punch to the gut. Because it was like, Yuki is he's a good driver. And I don't necessarily think that he should be in a Red Bull yet. Like, I don't think he's ready for that. But I do think that he deserves to be in a better seat than he is now. And obviously RB, I mean, based on what they did with Checo's contract, you know, they're obviously not planning on giving him up soon. And obviously Max is staying. So either Yuki's going to be stuck on RB for a very long time, or he's going to sign with another team. And I really wanted that to be Aston Martin, because I feel they're such, like, they're an upper midfield team, I feel like. So it would be great to see Yuki in a car that's, you know, a little more competitive, but nothing that would be overbearing for him. And at the moment, again, I just don't think Lance Stroll deserves it, driving-wise, but also just as a person. You know, he never takes responsibility for anything. He just kind of plays everything off, you know. He's passionless when it comes to F1, and it's kind of embarrassing for him, and I totally think that Yuki or Carlos deserved that seat. But again, you know, what are you going to do about it? It's F1. It's unfair. I'm kind of just rambling at this point, so I don't really know what else to talk about. Oh my god, yesterday, so I always forget that there's other sports other than what I watch, or not other sports, but there's other teams within the sports that I like. Like, I completely forgot that the Stanley Cup playoffs for the NHL, no, not playoffs, that the final was coming up, and I that just totally blanked out of my mind. And then there's basketball too, with Boston, so yay Boston, go Boston. If you can't tell, I am American, so, oh, I just got a notification from F1. But anyway, I think that's honestly all I'm really gonna talk about. Yeah, I mean, just not a lot, just a pretty crazy, eventful race, which obviously we love that. I mean, we love seeing, how many teams is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 different teams in the top 6. I think that's pretty good, versus, like, you know, both Red Bulls, both McLarens. You know, we love seeing a bit of diversity. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Wow, the last video I uploaded got more views than the one that got 20-something views. Actually, let me check. View account. Yeah, it got 35 views in 18 hours. That's so crazy to me. Like, I don't even know. Just, no way. It's, like, I keep saying it's, like, sorry. It's just that I feel as though I'm not very entertaining. So I don't really know why you're watching this or listening to this. You know, it's just a picture, really. But, I guess if you really do like it, subscribe, please. It's literally free, you know, it literally takes no effort. You just gotta move a couple of nerves in your hand and one finger and tap a button. So go ahead and do that. To the 35 people in the last video, hopefully some of them were like repeat fans from my other video. If that's you, if you're watching this, please subscribe, because why wouldn't you? You know? But anyways, that's gonna be it for this podcast. I wrapped up everything, kind of rambled most of the time, so yeah, not gonna be very interesting, but stay tuned for the next one. The next one is, when's the next race? I feel like I should know this. No, I definitely should know this. So Spain is next. Oh my god, there was a rumor saying that Williams might announce that Carlos is driving for them during the Spanish Grand Prix. So that is, wow. Okay, so in 11 days and 15 hours, hopefully another podcast will come out, or the qualifying, you know, depending on everything, or, you know, if there's any rumors. So feel free to follow my TikTok at Gerardi, GERARDI_auto, no caps. You can message me there if you have any questions or whatever. And yeah, so see you guys later.